Well, first of all, Iowa is a patriotic state. You've got you have thousands and thousands of veterans right here in your state. And also, I think that we haven't been talking enough about veterans issues. I think about 10 years ago, we were talking about them a lot because of Walter Reed and other things that had happened. But they're still there. There's still new illnesses that have arisen, like burn pits, and there's still new challenges. And I think this mental health, the suicide rate is so disturbing when you look at those numbers. And so that's why I wanted to focus on some of the new issues. And then some of this is hyper-local, which is good. People have concerns about things that have happened right here and how they're going to access services. So it served that purpose because we had some experts on the panel. But secondly, you're able to pick up new ideas and things you can do differently, and that's what this was about.
Some people look at you within the context of this race and call you a moderate Democrat. Is that a fair characterization, or how do you feel like you fit into this big list of candidates?
People can use whatever labels they want. I say proven progressive because it means I've actually gotten things done. I don't think you can be a progressive if you don't make progress. But am I moderate in tone? Yeah, and I think that's necessary. We already have the loudest voice in the room in the White House, and that's Donald Trump. I think people want something different. And as I have said many times, if you are tired of the noise and the nonsense and the extremes, you've got a home with me. And I'm someone that has been able to bring people with me instead of shutting them out. You can see that in my election results, where I've won every single red congressional district, including the one bordering Iowa, the ones bordering North and South Dakota, every single time in Minnesota. And I do that by simply hearing people's concerns and then responding to them, by being a person that tries to find common ground with people, and that's how I pass bills and get things done. It's a pretty Midwestern, sensible way of dealing with politics, and I think we need a little bit more of that right now.
One last question for you. The issue of climate change came up. Why is that important? What do we need to do? And how does that relate to veterans issues and military issues?
Well, it's really actually, someone was just telling me one other reason. First of all, it relates to military issues because it's a security risk for our country when you look at the whole world and you're going to have displaced populations like the refugees we're seeing coming up from sub-Saharan Africa. Also, climate change is affecting the Arctic, and that's already creating a lot of negotiations and positioning of foreign powers. Just things are changing and making people and countries more vulnerable. And instead of just letting it happen, we should be in the front trying to fix it and solve it. And so that's why it's a military issue, because you want to avoid conflicts, right? Well, shortage of resources because of climate change around the world, food, water, whatever, that creates conflicts. That's going to create wars. And the more we can do to prevent those, the better. And climate change is right there on top. Not to mention National Guard, which we've already seen here at home, having to be used for all the flooding and the fires and things like that. And while that isn't a traditional war function, or international function, it's a domestic function that takes a lot of resources as well. So we'd rather prevent this from happening rather than using our soldiers all the time to protect us from it.